How you doing, YouTube? Matt, Massive Beer Reviews, back with yet another review. A little bit of beer, a little bit of bits and baubles review, mind you, in the form of Horse and Dragon. This is their rum barrel aged Scottish Tradesman coconut porter. I've never had anything from this brewery before. They're from out Colorado way, Fort Collins, Colorado. Listen, it's a rum barrel aged coconut porter. Who doesn't like rum barrel aged stuff? Who doesn't like coconut porter? But yeah. I got this bottle not too long ago, the other day actually. It came courtesy of Joe. Thank you very much, Joe. He sent me off this bottle, but he also sent me off this fucking thing. Look at this goddamn thing. This thing you could kill people with. You know me, my beer reviews. I'm not a product shill kind of person. I've gotten the old request for the new air fridge. I've gotten the old what's that? The vitamin thing. I've gotten the request for pretty much everything that all the beer tubers kind of shill, but I just don't really fuck with that stuff. But Joe kind of said, "Hey man, I make bottle openers, and I'd like to know what you think." And this thing, it's a month and a half removed, or month and a half till we get to the Game of Thrones, and I was like, you know what? The thing kind of intrigues me. It looks like something I can actually do some damage with, so fuck yeah, dude. I'll grab it. I told him I'm not going to review it. I'll use it in a couple of videos, but I appreciate it. And he sent me along with beer with it, too. Sent me off a wax one, of course, because he wants me to kind of take this thing and kind of use it to get off the wax. But I think enough, this one looks like it has a pull tab to get the wax off, but we'll use this and see how it works. So yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of partial to my bottle opener here. This is the one that I pretty much use for almost all reviews. This is going to be a really long review, so if you want to see this, skip ahead. Only reason why I like this is because actually the first beer mail I ever received was from an Italian brewery called Birra di 32. They sent me off a bunch of beer after I reviewed a couple of their beers that were quite old. And they came with this weird kind of cork in it, and it had like a attachment to the bottle with like this kind of screw latch thing. I don't know. I was like, is this how you get the cork out? But it didn't work. So the owner's like, oh, he's like, no, that's so you can make a keychain out of the cork because there's these weird synthetic corks. He's like, I will send you a bottle opener because you do not have one. I actually had one, but he sent me this, and it was all used and fucked up. And I'm like, that's pretty cool that someone kind of sent me like a household bottle opener from halfway across the world. I don't know. It could have been the one that he just didn't give a shit about, but I kind of dig it. So I've used this one ever since, but we're going to give this one a whirl, see how she works, see what's what. There's some wax cutting apparatus on here and stuff like that. So anyway, this is the other cool thing about the bottle opener. And I don't know if this is going to actually be picked up in my mic, which is now, if you kind of peek really closely, I put it up there to try to reduce all the huffing craziness. But listen to this. Watch. Listen to the resonance on this thing. It kind of sings and rings. I kind of like that about it. But anyway, back to the beer. What do we have here? Let's see. Horse. It's going to do it the whole time, too, so now it's going to annoy me. Let's see. Every time you ping it, it's like ring. It's like a tuning fork almost. It says, rum barrel aged Scottish Tradesman coconut porter. Warm and sweet aromas rise slowly from this hardworking rum barrel aged porter with a deep tawny color and a thin veil of off-white bubbles. Notes of coconut, vanilla, sweet crystal malts present a complex flavor profile and hold your palate in check with a slight warming sensation. May this delicious and sustaining porter keep you in good health through all your voyages. This was bottled in November 2018, so it's only about 3 months old, being the end of, or 2 months old, being the end of January. And that be that. Fort Collins, Colorado. Yeah, and it, honestly, Horse and Dragon kind of sounds like, kind of medieval shit, so that bottle opener kind of works, and that'd be that. I love me some coconut porter. So let's see how this thing works. He actually said, I'm kind of bummed. I wish I would have sent you something that had a little bit kind of more wax cutting prowess to it. So we'll see what's what. There's a bunch of different ones of these he has up on his site, so that doesn't work all that well. It works. It's actually cutting through it, but I don't know how well it'll actually translate to me getting the beer open. But it actually cuts in there. Now this little pointy end here, this is what I'm kind of curious about. This is probably my favorite portion of the show. Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. So if you actually cut a small seam with this, and then take this pointy part and shove it there, it kind of rips the wax open pretty damn proper. So then you can actually just get at the cap itself. Now, the proof is in the pudding when it actually grab that cap and open it up. Like I said, it actually has this kind of peel back thing. Let's see what we have here. Look at that. It works as a bottle opener. And it sings too. So there you go. I dig it. You know what I mean? It's not my MO. I'm very kind of utilitarian. I'm very whatever, but I kind of dig it. And here's the other thing, not to kind of make this all about the bottle opener, is that that shit takes a long time to make, man. Handmade bottle openers like that. Listen, I worked in a profession. Ooh, man, big barrel character, big rum character coming off that sucker. Not a big head on it. Not that you expect the gigantic head off a rum barrel aged coconut porter. But yeah, soft head, khaki in color, and she's got a deep, rich, kind of doo-doo brown murk to her that kind of turns me on, to be perfectly honest with you. A little bit of legs to her. I didn't actually call it the ABV. It is 9.8, so 10% alcohol by volume. But yeah, she looks like a porter. Maybe a little bit darker in a weird way, and then it's like more dark brown than kind of like a hinting towards black. But she looks like kind of barley wine, old ale, Doppelbock Porter-esque. Let's see if we can get a nose on her. Oh, yeah. There's a soft kind of buttery vibe. I don't think this is a diacetyl thing. I think it's a rum thing. I actually get these big kind of butter vibes from rum, especially like a Caribbean rum, so that's what I assume they're using here. Definitely get the coconut. I actually believe you're getting a soft vanilla marshmallow component along with a nice kind of soft coconut from the coconut itself, but also from the barrel. There's soft chocolate vibes in there. There's a sweet maltiness to her, but that rum really comes to the forefront. You're definitely getting the sweet kind of sugary malts. It comes off more like Doppelbockish. Again, maybe that's my mind playing tricks on me, or old ale-like, as opposed to just a porter. But it's a higher ABV porter, so it's almost an imperial porter, or like a kind of like a Baltic kind of porter. But yeah, she smells nice. The barrel is well represented. The beer comes through. Smells pretty damn good. Let's take a sippy poo. Cheers. That's good. That's good beer. Listen, it's like you're almost getting like a soft milk chocolate, marshmallow, coconut, candy bar kind of vibe off it that comes in a very non-overly sweetened fashion, which is super cool to actually taste. Listen, marshmallow, coconut, chocolate, all those things. You get those ad nauseum with beers nowadays because pastry stouts are a thing. But they all, for me, usually tend to be a little bit too sweet, a little bit too rich, a little bit too sugary. This beer is giving you all those without getting overly sweet, which is absolutely a godsend. Yeah, it's got a nice mouthfeel to her. Just south the creaminess, but got a nice mouthfeel. The beer is actually there. Call it a porter? Not really. I'd call it, again, more like kind of Doppelbock-esque, somewhere between a Doppelbock and an old ale kind of vibe I'm getting off it, more than a porter, but you're talking about a 10% porter, so yeah. But the beer is actually there. They're rich caramel malts, big sweetness, virgining, just before you get into those soft kind of raisin notes, and then you get that rum. You get that barrel, you get a soft kind of barrel char on it, a little bit of smokiness, you get that nice kind of rum component. It comes off a little buttery to me, but it definitely doesn't get in that kind of diacetyl realm, which is nice. And it adds that kind of spirit, soft, rounded, welcoming spirit, kind of how I view rum, with that soft kind of, again, kind of marshmallow vibe coming from the barrel, and then that coconut on the top of it. It's not toasted. It's not just raw coconut. There's somewhere in between. It definitely has those candy bar vibes to it, like I said at the get, but without that overt sweetness. I think it's a really tasty beer. It's really nice. Probably one of the better kind of unknown barrel-aged beers I've had in quite some time. But yeah, nice. Exact opposite of this thing. This thing's all jagged and sharp and stuff. But I was saying about this, it's super hard to make this stuff. I worked 18 years in let's say, a profession that metal mattered quite a bit. The quality and make of metal. So to go from there to actually working for a company, basically, right now I kind of do 3D modeling for a company that deals a lot with machining metal and CNC stuff like that. So I know what it's like to work with metal, and the hand kind of bang out stuff like that is pretty damn cool. So I appreciate it, Joe. Super cool of you to send one off. They are a little bit pricey, probably a little bit pricier than what I could get down with, but I know a lot of people dig these kind of openers. There's a couple other companies that make these kind of things, and they run, you know, the $100, $200, $300 range. So if you go looking for these, there's some stuff that can be had sub $100. But you're going to look to drop a couple pennies. But if this is your kind of thing, it's got a nice heft to it. You could definitely hurt somebody really badly with this. And at the same time, if you want your stuff to sing, that's kind of cool, isn't it? Then you'll be happy. So there you go. There's my little bits and pieces. Like I said, I'm not a person that usually sells stuff and stuff that talks about stuff. Not that I'm selling it, but you know, someone's going to send me beer and also send me something that is kind of more than a new air fridge. Let's put it that way. I don't know. I feel compelled to actually mention it. Anyway, back to the beer. It's super tasty stuff. I mean, Colorado, they're known for their barrel aging programs out there. You know, you have Avery, you have a bunch of breweries that are out there doing it well, and actually never have anything from a brewery before. They have it shine this nice. It's a nice surprise. But I dig it. It's probably one of the better barrel aged porters that I've had in quite some time. And yeah, let's cut to the chase. It is one of the better barrel-aged porters that I've had in quite some time. Or barrel-aged darker beers. In a more traditional sense. Sure, coconut rum barrel-aged porter. That's not uber traditional. But if you take, to harken back to when I was talking about the pastry stouts, everything is, the goal of a lot of people is to take these flavors and crank them to 11. The adjuncts, the sweetness, the beer, everything, just fucking bleed it with every ounce of your being. So to get a well-made beer that represents the beer, the barrel, and the adjunct in a very thoughtful, balanced manner is a fucking really good thing. And the fact that this comes off not overly sweet just kind of tickles me pink. I want to drink this whole bottle. A lot of those big, huge adjuncty stouts, those big barrel-aged things, if I get through a quarter of a glass, I'm like, wow, man, that was intense. Sometimes you just want to drink the good stuff, and this is the good stuff. Value and availability, no idea. Maybe Joe or somebody out there in Fort Collins area could actually chime in and leave you with, if you like, what will you like this beer? If you like well-made, barrel-aged beers that represent all the ingredients really, really well. Again, brewery never heard of, doing killer barrel program, that's always a bonus. But to get a nice, soft, creamy barrel-aged beer that represents all those kind of delicious candied flavors in a non-diabetic coma fashion, double thumbs up. Or double guns. So there you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers if you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Beer Massive if you want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully you're enjoying a nice little coconut porter right now. And hope to see you next time. Cheers.